Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Anxiety News. Christopher Tias. Speaking of which, I went to Half Price to sell some books today. And when I was leaving, the girl said, Christopher. I don't know why she said that. Okay. Today, from Medical Express, new research maps similarities and differences between insomnia, anxiety, and depression. I'll put a picture up of these brains, probably. If I don't, well, you can go to it. It's News 2025 5. Similarities, differences, insomnia, anxiety, depression. So insomnia, depression, anxiety are the most common mental disorders. Treatments are often only moderately effective, with many people experiencing returning symptoms. This is why it is crucial to find new leads for treatments. Notably, these disorders overlap a lot, often occurring together. Could there be a shared brain mechanism behind this phenomenon? I believe so. But let's see. Simon DeLange and Alec Teesink and S. van Sommeren, together with their colleagues from the Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam, investigated brain scans of more than 40,000 participants from the UK Biobank. The research is published in the journal Nature Mental Health. Teesink says, in our lab, we explore the similarities and differences between insomnia, anxiety, and depression. Everyone looks at this from different perspectives. Some mainly look at the genetics in the study. We look at brain scans. What aspects are shared between the disorders and what is unique to each one? Overlap and differences. We investigated many different aspects like the structure and connectivity of the brain tissue. In all three disorders, we observed a reduced surface area of the cerebral cortex, a smaller thalamic volume, and weaker connectivity between different brain regions. In addition, oh man, I'm diagnosing myself right now. I'm talking about my brain right now. In addition, some abnormalities are unique to each disorder. For example, the severity of insomnia appears to be more closely related to smaller volumes in the brain areas associated with reward. The severity of depression, on the other hand, seems to be more strongly related to a thinner cerebral cortex and brain areas associated with language and emotion. Instead, anxiety is more severe with weaker amygdala reactivity and functional connectivity between regions where dopamine, glutamate, and histamine play a crucial role in communication. Okay, there's a little picture there, infographic. Similar brain circuits. But what can we ultimately do with this information? Teesink continues. The regions seem separate from each other, but when you map them out together, they all turn out to be part of the same circuit. The amygdala, the hippocampus, and the medial prefrontal cortex circuit. I don't know why it's creeping me out to talk about my brain, because I'm sure it's using the parts that I don't know. I don't even know how it works. So even though they are distinct areas, they all appear to represent different pieces of vulnerability within the same puzzle. A lot of research has been done on the overlap between anxiety and depression, but insomnia is often forgotten. This is the first time that we have investigated all three disorders at the same time on such a big scale. The comorbidity is extremely high. People may experience these disorders in different stages of their lives or experience them all at once. There's a lot of discussion about the underlying mechanisms. The treatment of insomnia, for example, sometimes also improves depression. But why? By further investigating the question, we hope to find new leads for follow-up research as well as better treatments. Interesting. For more information, you can go look at the study. It's in Nature Mental Health by Simon C. DeLange, and I'll put the link. Whoa, there's something that says your brain gets bigger if you're anxious and depressed. Should we look at that one to make us feel better after that so sad one? Let's see what they say. Researchers have found depression is linked to areas of the brain shrinking in size. But when depression is paired with anxiety, one area of the brain becomes significantly larger. This is going to make me feel worse. A new study published in the Journal of Psychiatry and Neuroscience looked at more than 10,000 people to find the effects of depression and anxiety on brain volume. The study shows depression has a pronounced impact on the hippocampus, the part of the brain linked to memory and learning, shrinking it. In contrast, the study found that when depression and anxiety occur together, it leads to an increase in size of the part of the brain linked to emotions, the amygdala. Many studies looking at the effect of depression on brain do not account for the fact that people who have depression often have anxiety as well. Study lead and PhD researcher Ms. Daniela Espinosa Oyarce said, depression is the most debilitating disorder worldwide, and 1 in 6 Australians currently experience depression, anxiety, or both. We found people who have depression alone have lower brain volumes in many areas of the brain, and in particular the hippocampus, Ms. Espinosa Oyarce said. This becomes even more relevant later in life because a smaller hippocampus is a risk factor for Alzheimer's disease and may accelerate the development of dementia. Sorry, it's a pop-up. A particularly important finding of this research is that people who have both depression and anxiety have less shrinkage in many brain areas and even an increase in the amygdala. This indicates that the true effect of depression on the brain has been underestimated because of an opposite effect in the amygdala. Anxiety lowers the effects of depression on brain volume sizes by 3% on average, somewhat hiding the true shrinking effects of depression. Anxiety is saving the brain but canceling out the depression so it doesn't shrink too much. That's amazing. More research is needed into how anxiety lowers the effects of depression, but for the amygdala, perhaps anxiety leads to overactivity. Overthinking. Wow. Oh, snap, and that's from 2020. It's hilarious. August 5th, 2020. That's 5 years ago. Saving that one and the one from this year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Anxiety News. We shall return with the movies. Let's go to the, ooh, Red Cardinal. I need some of that cat food. Or it's raining, so I get some rings. Peace.